Alright, well, this is the E-flite Deflatlon Decathlon again. I'm going to compare it, or at least attempt to, depending on how this footage comes out, with the Deflatlon, which is my concept plane, and that's full-on version 2 compared to version 1. And yeah, I just want to go over, clear up some of the stuff and why I have issues with this plane. The main issue, and then there's a lot of people say like, oh, he's a Horizon hater, he doesn't like anything Horizon does. And I mean, yeah, I'm not a Horizon fan, never hidden that. But I really wanted to like this plane. I'm a big RJ Grader fan, and I'm a big Decathlon fan. I have, between Citabrias and Champs and Decathlons, I think I have 6 planes in my fleet. But yeah, my main issue is it has a flat bottom wing. And I know why they did a flat bottom wing, because it does make it easier to fly most of the time, you know, when it's, you know, right side up. But one of the main issues and selling points and why the Decathlon exists in the first place is to fly upside down. And it's an upgrade from the Citabria in real life, in full scale, which has a mostly flat bottom wing. And this has, in full scale, has inverted oil, inverted fuel, and it's rated for unlimited aerobatic. And if you actually watch RJ's new sequences that he just did at the Sun and Fun, he incorporates a lot more negative G maneuvers now that he has his new wing and ailerons. He doesn't have the wood spar wing anymore. He has a metal spar wing. The new, I think it's pretty sure it's an Extreme Decathlon wing. But anyway, see if I could demo what I mean about this. So, flat bottom wing, what does that mean? Well, it means the bottom's flat. Pretty simple. And that means the top of it's curved and the bottom's flat. So that creates, that's not the only reason it flies, but it's very good on positive G maneuvers. That's, you know, it doesn't have any tendencies to, you know, drop a wing or stall asymmetrically. It's nice and docile. It's very calm and easy to fly, and that's likely why they put a flat bottom wing on a Decathlon. But where it falls apart is when you fly inverted. Now, when you fly inverted normally, a little bit of forward pressure, it's fine. And I've seen other YouTube channels say like, oh, I love the inverted performance, it flies great. Yeah, it's not that bad when you just hold it inverted. The problem is when you try to push it into the negative G's. Now, I'm about a little over half throttle, which is my normal cruising, and it just stall, and it just doesn't want to push. You're fighting it the entire time, and it often will drop a wing while inverted, as in it's stalling the wing asymmetrically. And do it again. A little bit of forward pressure, it just doesn't want to go. Doesn't want to go. It just stops, and I'm just holding constant pressure. Now, I can go wide open with it, and this is on 4S, and I can force it, and it will do it, but it's not actually flying. It's just brute forcing the wing around, and it's not clean, it's not precise, it's not nice. To put it simple, it just doesn't want to go. I mean, eventually it will go, but compared to what I do for a positive mini, that's just single, you know, constant pressure, just pulls nice and straight. It just is not possible with a flat bottom wing. It flies just like my Cadet does. It just, the same amount of pressure as I'm trying to apply on the regular loop, and it just doesn't want to do it cleanly. Now, it does everything else great, you know, snaps, rolls, you know, everything you want to do with a Decathlon on the positive G's. It's basically a clipped wing Citabria at this point. It's not a Decathlon and how I expect one to fly. As I say, I'm not a full-scale pilot by any means, but I have a lot of experience with scale Decathlons, and I have a certain way that I want them to fly, which is like the real full-size one flies. So that's my issue. It's not, you know, the quality of the plane. There were some issues I had with this. The motor clip was found in the box, so I was able to pull the motor right apart, so I had to put the motor clip back on. A couple people, like I think 2 or 3 other people on the RC groups had the similar issue with their motor falling apart. what was the other issue? A lot of people have had their tires fall off, so make sure your axles are tight before each flight, especially the one on the right, because that one's wanting to loosen every time it lands. Other than that, I mean, I don't really have any issues with it. I mean, it flies fine in the positive G stuff, but I have my Cadet for that. I don't, or my Citabria for that. I don't need another Decathlon pretending to be a Citabria. It's just not what and some of it is I was blinded by, you know, A, it's a Decathlon, A, it's pretty damn scale. Like, they did really good with the scale lines with it. And I'm an RJ fan, and it's just was a little upset with its inverted performance and the lack of coverage of that. That's my issue with it. Everybody says everything's great, everything flies amazing. And yeah, you can brute force it into negative G maneuvers, but it's not really flying, and it's not being precise in an already non-precise plane. The Decathlon is not like an Extra or an Edge or anything, or an MX or whatever. Game Bird, whatever your drug of choice with mid-wing monos. So anytime we lose the little bit of precision that we're supposed to have, just kind of gets a little upsetting. And on the other side of it too is like, oh, it's a small plane, you know, they needed to have it hop on a wing and all that stuff. But I don't have it with me today, but I have an E-Star Decathlon that I built in the early 2000s, and it's balsa, and it's even smaller than this, and it has a semi-symmetrical wing, and it flies inverted and does negative G maneuvers, and it doesn't stall really that bad. You know, it doesn't drop a wing, it doesn't do anything crazy, it flies wonderfully. I just don't fly it much because it's kind of irreplaceable at this point. And I generally fly larger planes, you know, unless any kind of a breeze and the thing gets tossed around. But so, I mean, part of me wanted to build a balsa wing, you know, with a semi-symmetrical airfoil on this. It doesn't even have to be a scale airfoil. Just a little bit of curve on the bottom of the wing would have probably fixed 90% of the issue and still flown fine for everything else. But they neutered it to make it easier to fly, which is fine. You know, the masses, for the general mass majority of people that are going to fly it, it's going to be fine. But if you're expecting true Decathlon performance out of this plane, you're unfortunately not going to get it, in my opinion. So that's that. I will take up the Deflatlon next, and I'll try to demonstrate how I feel like it should fly. Alright, well, hopefully these videos come out, but who knows, you never know when you're recording by yourself. But this is Deflatlon version 2. Come on. Oh, there's a stick under the wheel. Oh, the wind's kicking up now. It's always fun. Get out of there. Alright, so this is version 2. It went on a diet from version 1. I've flown version 2 wing before on the old fuselage. So this is a version 2 wing. It's 56 inches long. It took version 2 about 6.5 roughly ounces lighter than version 1. Everything else is pretty much the same. Nothing changed on the tail surfaces or anything like that. For the purpose of this experiment, comparing it to the E-flite, I will not be using any full wing aileron or flaps. Well, it doesn't matter. I wasn't comparing landing performance, but I might use flaps on landing. So version 1 had a fully symmetrical wing, and that was a little bit of an experiment to see how that would perform, and it performed fine, but it was a little bit on the edgy side. The wing was a little bit shorter than what we have here. But what I want to compare is I just flew the E-flite Decathlon. It's a little breezy up there, and I wanted to compare the inverted performance. I have to retrim a little bit. And so main thing is, you know, this does positive G maneuvers just fine. Rolls about the same. My rudder's a little bit more authoritative than the E-flite, but it is what it is. But what I want to talk about is inverted. So come on, we'll flip it on its back, and same thing. A little bit of forward pressure. Not bad, but watch it climb. Watch it. That was the same amount of forward pressure as I do doing a positive maneuver. I don't like doing, it's kind of, the trees are scaring me over there because of where the sun is. I have to fly over here today, especially when recording. But half throttle, same as anything else. Just a little bit of forward pressure, watch it go. Just nicely continues around. And that's what a semi-symmetrical wing. And it's not a scale semi-symmetrical. It is a wing, I forget what the actual airfoil is, but it is meant for, RC scale. So it doesn't have to be like an actual 1-to-1 airfoil as the real thing. But that's my main gripe with it. I like doing outside maneuvers. As I've been, doing more aerobatics and stuff. I like it's nice, and I'm doing a little bit of washout there from the wind. At least I assume so. But it does this. It pretty much does the same loops, negative as positive. It does the same thing. It's like just wonderful, and that's how a Decathlon should fly. And that's my gripe with the E-flite, when I say the quote-unquote Decathlon, because it's basically a clipped wing Citabria. And I feel like they could have done a little, it doesn't have to be fully flat bottom, doesn't have to be even as semi-symmetrical as what I did with this one, but just a little bit of curvature in the bottom of the wing, like the E-flite clipped wing Cub, which I've never flown one, but from people that have flown that plane as well as the Decathlon, it flies much better inverted. And that's just, I don't know, call me whiny, say I'm bitching about it, whatever. I don't really care, but that's my problem with it, and that's why I'm likely going to sell the E-flite. I mean, I wanted to toss in the car plane, but reality is I was building this one, which is basically the same damn thing. It's a little bit bigger than the E-flite. It's 56 inches. I don't know what 1.2 meters works out to. I think it's like, I don't know. I can't do that conversion at this moment. I think it's either high 40s or low 50s in the wingspan. But as I say, the wing loadings are about the same between the two. And also snaps are better with the wing like this because it just happens instantly. There's no delay. It just does it. There's no like split second that it's still flying. It just, you command a snap, it does it. And that's what I love about it. But yeah, this plane in general, I'm super happy with it over version 1. I already like this wing better, flying on the other fuselage, but with the weight loss program of 6.5 ounces, it definitely, it made a difference. It still flies like I expected to, but just that much better. Knife edge, I did it the other day, just nice and almost no coupling. Kind of holding in there. Again, the sun's in a crappy position today. Always is, unless I could fly in the morning, which is only going to happen on weekends. And I'm super happy with this scheme. I was playing around in a couple different options, and I found this scheme. I think it's a Citabria scheme, but yeah, it looks really nice. The metallic red, I just absolutely love it. Yeah, and also for people that don't realize, the idea is to kit this. I have a couple more revisions to make that I came across while building version 2, but overall it's easier to build. It's a lot lighter. But yeah, I have a tentative plan to have at least a couple kits built or cut. I'm also experimenting with off-the-shelf landing gear. They're a little tall for me compared to what I normally like, but it's off-the-shelf stuff, so you don't have to make aluminum gear or anything like that. Alright, there's my battery. Alright, let's bring this sucker in. Flight times are a little longer than with the E-flite, with the 4S 2200 pack. But you can see the front gear is a little bit stanced up compared to the old one, but it doesn't look too bad. And I'm going to change the pants around. I'm going to try to add some taper to them so they're not so blocky. But the new nose I redesigned the nose. It looks a lot better than it did before. And yeah, hopefully we'll do some final sims. I'm going to do a lot more testing on this version, and then also have someone else build another, a V2 version of this to see how that goes for someone else, and hopefully later this year we can get something put out. All right.